set, and ready to go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Below the Yellow Line podcast. The podcast where me and my co-host Emily Long talk about fast cars that go in circles for hours every week. Thank you for coming back. This is our 20th episode. I mistakenly said on our midweek podcast Wednesday night that it's that the post-race Richmond episode would be our 20th. This is actually our 20th. So it's really because we follow along with the current NASCAR season so quickly. That's why we have so many episodes so quickly. But it's still really neat that we've already hit that mark. So we are going to be previewing Richmond today, going to the action track, as they call it. Toyota has won 6 of the last 9 races there. They are the favorite manufacturer going in, but Kevin Harvick won there last time we were there last year. It was Denny Hamlin and a Toyota that won the spring race. So last year was a veteran-dominated track. It seems to be that way. Before we really get into the show, I just want to let y'all know where you can find us. If you're listening to this, you found us, obviously, but we are on Spotify, we're on RSS.com, we're on TuneIn, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Pandora, TuneIn, I think I already mentioned that one, we're on YouTube, on the Spotter Stand YouTube page, and if you have any business inquiries, media inquiries, anything like that, or just a question, a comment, a compliment, of the show that you want to share with us, you can email us at belowtheyellowlinepodcast@gmail.com. And I am one of your hosts, Samuel Stubbs. My other host, Emily, can't be with us today, but she will be back for the post-race episode on either Sunday night, probably Sunday night, for that, and then Monday night. Monday night. We'll hopefully be able to do that one in person, as well as our midweek show in person next week. Let's go ahead and look at the weekend schedule for Richmond Raceway this weekend. The Toyota Owners 400 is the name of the race. The NASCAR Cup Series getting everything started off. All their on-track action is tomorrow, and then the race obviously on Sunday. Practice tomorrow is at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's on Fox Sports 1, MRN, and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. Qualifying is at 10:50 a.m. Eastern on FS1, MRN, and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. There's also a modified race today, Friday. What time is that at? What time is that modified race at? 6:30 Eastern on MRN and Flow Racing. The race is at 3:30 Eastern, FS1, MRN, SiriusXM, NASCAR Radio. Let's look at these standings here. Alex Bowman, so we're going to talk about these Hendrick penalties a little bit later on, but with the penalties being overturned, William Byron is only 29 back of Alex Bowman for the regular season points lead. Kyle Larson is back in the playoffs. He is plus 26 right now. Bowman is back to the regular season points leader. He's plus 82. Let's shuffle the playoffs up a lot. Bowman is 15 up on Ross Chastain, 29 up on Byron, 34 up on Busch, 40 up on Logano and Harvick, 42 up on Bell, 49 up on Blaney, 56 up on Larson, and 60 up on Cindric. That's for the regular season championship, but I like looking at the playoffs. The guys locked in right now: William Byron with 2 wins, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and Ricky Stenhouse all with their 1 win. 5 drivers have won these 6 races this season. Bowman is the highest guy of all the drivers currently in on points. He is plus 82. Chastain is plus 67. Harvick plus 42. Bell plus 40. Blaney plus 33. Larson plus 26. Cindric plus 22. Truex plus 21. Keselowski plus 18. Hamlin plus 17. Chris Buescher right now is the last guy in plus 13. So this knocks Suarez out and LaJoie out, because they were in beforehand. So Corey LaJoie not in the playoffs right now, but a few good runs, a few more 11ths, 4ths like he had in Atlanta and Coda, he can get right back in them. Suarez, first guy out, 13 points out. LaJoie is 18th, 18 points out. 19th is McDowell, 32 out. 20th, Ty Gibbs, 39 out. 21st, Bubba Wallace, 54 out. Allmendinger is also 54 out. Eric Jones, 58 points out of the playoffs. Chase Briscoe, 61 out. Todd Gilliland, 62 out. Austin Dillon, 64 out. He's having a rough year. Gregson, 71 out. Eric Almirola, 87 out. Ryan Preece, 88 out. Harrison Burton, 91 out, Cody Ware 95 out, Ty Dillon 125 out, and Justin Haley is 164 points out of the playoffs. He still has -7 points. So we'll see next week if his penalty gets overturned. And if it does, he would have 93 points. That would tie him with Austin Dillon. And we'll also see Denny Hamlin. He lost 25 points in his penalty. He's getting his hearing next week. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So we're going to go in before we start previewing Richmond here. We're going to talk about Hendrick and their penalty. If you missed it, all of the points were given back to Hendrick. All the owner points, driver points, playoff points. They were all given back to Hendrick Motorsports. The crew chief suspensions are upheld, so they will not have their crew chiefs this week at Richmond, nor next week at Bristol Dirt. They will all be back at Martinsville, and the $100,000 fine for each team was also upheld, so that's probably already been paid by Rick Hendrick. Like I said, I don't think fines do anything, which we'll talk about that later with Daniel Suarez, but I don't think fines do anything, especially not for these multimillionaire drivers and owners. But NASCAR was not happy. Hendrick obviously was. NASCAR put out a statement that said, what was this? Hang on. We're having bad weather. Let's make sure this isn't a tornado warning for my county. It's not. Okay, we're okay right now. But Hendrick was not very happy. NASCAR is not very happy with the decision. They said, we're glad the Motorsports Appeal Panel found Hendrick guilty. Basically, said that they broke the rules, but we're not happy they rescinded the points, is basically what they said. And I don't know. It's weird. Was Hendrick telling the truth about the miscommunication between them and NASCAR? We don't know. We weren't in that hearing, which, I wish we could hear some of that stuff. But we just don't know. But also, it is weird that they said, okay, yeah, they broke the rules. We're still going to give them the points back. That's the biggest part of that penalty. It really is. Crew chief suspension, they'll be okay, fine. And that was paid in milliseconds. But the points were huge. I mean, that knocked Bowman, Larson out of the playoffs. 9-team, knocked them out of the owners' playoffs. And then Byron knocked him out of contention for the regular season championship. Where is the 9 in the owner standings, by the way? Where is he? The 9 is 20th in the owner standings right now, 107 back of Bowman. Manufacturer standing. Chevy is 22 ahead of Toyota, 24 ahead of Ford. Ford is 2 back of Toyota, so as a Bowtie Brigade fan, I like that. But anyway, the NMPA, National Motorsports, NMAP, National Motorsports Appeal Panel found Hendrick kind of guilty, kind of not. Again, it's a weird situation, but that's just what they found. If they found him guilty, they should have upheld the penalty, and if they were not guilty, they should have rescinded the whole thing. It's weird. I don't necessarily think there's any Hendrick favoritism going on. I don't know how convincing of a case they presented. Obviously, it was good enough to where the appeals panel said, okay, we're going to give you back your points. But the whole deal is just kind of weird. Apologies if you hear any thunder in the background. We're not having great weather. I'm in Tornado Alley, and it's tornado season, so that's fun. Might get one tonight, might not. Hoping to get the YouTube pre-race show out, and I got a Dave Blaney movie premiering tonight. Hopefully we can get through that without any NATOs happening. But, that's the gist on that. NASCAR's just not happy about it. So we're going to take our first commercial break, come back. We'll probably only have one commercial break today. We'll talk a little bit about Daniel Suarez and his penalty. Then we'll preview Richmond and give our poll and win picks and just preview the Toyota Owners 400 this year. All right. Emily did record all 4 of those commercials, though, by the way. So, props to her for doing that. Going to Richmond this weekend. Going to be a lot of fun. It's the action track. This will be the second race with that new short track package that debuted at Phoenix. Phoenix probably isn't the best place to debut a package because, it's Phoenix. It just, not much happens there regardless of the aero package, but hopefully Richmond can provide some action because there just haven't been a ton of great Richmond races, I'll be honest. I mean, there's been some good moments, historical moments there, but just not a ton of great races there. But hopefully this one will be good. Before we get into previewing Richmond, I do want to mention a few things about the Daniel Suarez penalty Wednesday. He was fined $50,000 for bumping Alex Bowman after the race at COTA. Should have been a points penalty or a bigger fine. Again, fines don't mean anything. Justin Marks either already paid it or Suarez already paid it. He did put out a funny Twitter post, though. It said, current budgets situation. He was drawing the Nike swoosh on his socks. So he wasn't taking it very seriously. I don't think it was a huge deterrent to keep him from doing it again, which is the main reason why I just, what's the point of fines if drivers are taking it that lightly? I mean, he literally could have injured or killed an official. Guy can't do that. Unacceptable behavior. Hopefully Justin Marks sat him down. Ty Norris, I've heard, it's kind of a tough guy. Worked with DEI and Michael Waltrip Racing, really helped kind of build those programs up, trying to do the same at Trackhouse. So he's been in the business for a while. I'm hoping he can kind of talk to Daniel Suarez and let him know that's not okay. But just wanted to mention that. Going to Richmond this weekend, going to the Action Track. It's a 3/4 of a mile oval, D-shaped oval in Richmond, Virginia. We have been racing here, I believe, since 1960. It's been a long time since Richmond has not been on the schedule. Toyota, like I said at the open of the show, has won 6 of the 9 races run at Richmond. So they're obviously very good here. Kyle Busch has 10 top 10s in the last 10 Richmond races. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch are 3 very notable guys. And Martin Truex. Those are 4 very notable guys that appear on the top 10 lap leaders all time at Richmond Raceway. They're up there with guys like Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, Jeff Gordon. So they all get this track pretty well. Joe Gibbs has, especially in recent years. And Denny Hamlin, it's his home track. He's on there as well on that lap leader list, which you can see on NASCAR.com. Who are we expecting to be fast? Well, I expect the Penske cars to be decent. Keselowski's won here a few times, so is Logano. Blaney dominated in the spring, just hasn't been able to quite close out races. He hasn't, to be fair, Blaney hasn't been able to close out races at a lot of places, but Penske's probably going to be pretty fast, but I expect JGR to be the team to beat. Now, Chastain was really good here last fall. Harvick was really good. Hendrick, Larson, I think he was solid here in the fall. Byron is just fast everywhere right now. Bowman did win here in the spring of 2021. Bubba Wallace was 13th here in the spring, so not great, but, Tyler Reddick, though, I was surprised. Reddick has, I believe, 1 top 10 at Richmond, or maybe he's never finished in the top 10, but he has been surprisingly poor, or bad at Richmond. Just run really poorly. So, yeah, I don't know, we'll see. It seems like Ford and Toyota are obviously the kind of the manufacturers to watch. I'm pretty sure I picked Toyota as the manufacturer to watch on Stat Tracking earlier in the week. But yeah, that'll just be something to watch out for those guys. Christopher Bell is really good here in the fall. He finished second to Harvick. He's been really fast this year. Obviously, Brad Keselowski as well. He's dominated here in the fall of 2014, dominated here in the fall of 2020. But who was also really good in that 2020 fall race was Austin Dillon. 26th in points. He's had a really bad start to the year. He would really love a race like Richmond to jolt him in the right direction. So he just hasn't had a lot of speed. We'll see. Ryan Preece is a really good short track racer. We'll see. Eric Almirola has won at short tracks in the past. Briscoe could really use a good race. Stenhouse could use another solid run like he had at Coda. Might even see some Daniel Suarez. So that's just the Cup Series nowadays. You can name like 25 drivers that all kind of realistically have a chance to win because that's what it seems like. I think the Calder cars are going to really struggle this weekend, though. Omni or even the Xfinity Series wasn't really great at Richmond, and Justin Haley really just hasn't gotten a feel for the place. Maybe Corey LaJoie can sneak up in there, get a decent run. Noah Gragson, Eric Jones, those guys are really looking for good runs. Ty Gibbs won here in the Xfinity Series last year at Richmond. And I believe he finished last in this race in the fall, the Cup race, but that was because of engine issues. I don't remember where he was running before those engine issues, and it might have happened at the very start of the race. But I'm pretty sure Bubba had engine issues here in the spring last year, so 2311 in Richmond might not work very well for engines. As for picks, I would show my fantasy team, or tell you all about my fantasy team, but I don't have it pulled up. But as for picks, for the poll, polls are really hard to predict, I feel like. The last, I believe, 6 short track races, according to NASCAR.com, have been won from the 13th starting spot or worse. So like Martinsville, Bristol, and Richmond. Maybe that was just Richmond, I can't remember. I saw that stat, though, and that was It seems like short track racing is or tracks where track position just really comes in because it's hard to pass. You got to use the bumper a little bit, but that makes sense in an era where short tracks are kind of becoming less about using the bumper. With how they've revamped Bristol to make 2 lanes accessible. How Richmond is kind of a 2-lane track, and Martinsville now where it's harder to bump people out of the way. It doesn't entirely surprise me, but I don't think we're going to see as much of that now. But as for the pole, I'm going to go Ryan Blaney to win the pole. I feel like he won the pole here in the last spring. I'm going to go Blaney to win the pole. Practice is early in the morning, so it's going to be decently warm. It might rain that morning, though. Tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, might rain out all the morning track activity. Hopefully not, but then the lineup would be set by the rule book. But if they do qualify, I'll go Blaney to win the pole. But I'm going to pick Christopher Bell to win the race. I felt really good about that pick. I was going in between him and Logano, and I know Logano just won Atlanta. I know Logano is 5th in the regular season standings, but he only has 3 top 10s. 6 races, only 3 top 10s. So he hasn't exactly just had this fantastic speed. William Byron only has 3 top 10s as well, as does Harvick. I feel like they've been a little more consistent this year, but yeah. Austin Cindric and Martin Truex are 2 kind of guys I'm a little surprised they're in the playoffs right now. I just feel like I haven't seen a lot of them, but look out for Truex as well. And maybe Cindric can, he's never been great on short tracks, but he's won a couple of them in the Xfinity Series. As for my win pick, I am going Bell. Again, like I said, I was flirting between him and Logano. I think all those 25 guys I mentioned, I think legitimately could win this race. Like that's just how it is the next gen car. But if you put a gun to my head and told me, okay, 5 guys you think will be up there, give me Hamlin, give me Truex, give me Byron, give me kind of don't want to pick Logano now. I said that. Give me Bowman because they've just had really consistent speed. Yeah. Interesting note here, Kyle Larson's led the most laps by 2 over William Byron this year, and the only other guy in triple digits is Joey Logano. Oh, no, my bad. Chastain is in triple digits in last laps led too. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm picking Blaney to win the pole, Bell to win the race. I think Bell is like probably a top 5 driver in the sport right now, honestly. But I think he gets the win. I think he'll lock himself into the postseason, be the 6th driver this year to win. But hey, if Bowman or Bubba won, they're my guys, so I wouldn't be mad about that either. So that's about all I have for the show. Hopefully me and Emily can bring you the post-race podcast Monday night. We'll have post-race coverage from all 3 races, Trucks at Texas, Xfinity, Richmond, Cup, Richmond, nothing for the modifieds. On the Spotter Stand YouTube channel, again, you can email us at belowtheLNpodcast@gmail.com. And on the Spotter Stand YouTube page, we'll have the YouTube Cup pre-race show out tonight. And this will be up on YouTube as well, Spotify, all your streaming services. And we are on Google Podcasts now. I'm working to see if I can get us on Apple Podcasts, so it's whole new ways for you guys to listen. I stream all these live on YouTube too, and I'm recording them. And then they come out a little while later. So thank you all for watching, listening. Like us, like the video, subscribe, comment, share, rate, follow, anything that you can do. Press all the buttons, as me and Emily like to say. So thank you all so much for listening to Below the Yellow Line from the Spotter Stand and NASCAR Cup Series podcast. We will see you all on Monday night. Enjoy the race, everybody. Goodbye. Bye, YouTube.